Hi, I'm Flavia.
And I'm Andy, and we are The Firm, your real estate concierge.
We help our clients buy and sell real estate in Wisconsin.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Casual Friday. I knew this was going to happen eventually. It's so embarrassing. We wore the same outfit today. We're just showing off a little bit because we're so proud and excited that we were part of the President's Club luncheon yesterday for Coldwell Banker. It's a great event. Anyway, Flavia, we're going to take the next step in our journey to writing a winning offer with our clients. Why don't you tell everybody what we're going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about post-closing occupancy.
All right. So today, Flavia, what's one of the biggest challenges when you have a house that you're trying to sell, but you're trying to buy a house at the same time? It can be pretty tricky for people, can it?
Yes, because some sellers need to sell their house first in order to buy their next house, or they
Right.
need an extra moving timing to move from their current house to another house.
So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about timing and how important that is for sellers. Everything that we talk about in this series is about removing certainty, removing uncertainty, removing uncertainty from your offer so that the sellers can feel really confident things are going to move forward, and also making things really convenient for them. So if you stick around to the end, we're going to show you specifically how we can use a special form that we attach with our offer that really can take the offer to the next level for your sellers when you're writing an offer. Flavia, what's the so when you say that somebody needs to sell before they can buy, why would that be?
It could be that they can afford to buy another house, to buy a second one. It could, as we said before, it could be just they need more time to move.
Right. So if you already are paying a mortgage on the house you're in, your lender might not actually even give you a loan to buy the next house because they don't want to have you obligated to paying two loans, and that might not work well, or might not actually fit with your debt to income ratio, things like that. So if we all, and that's what we always want to tell our clients to do, right? Put themselves in the shoes of the seller. If you were in their situation, what would you want the most? So if we close on this very same day on selling a house and buying a new house, probably going to be a pretty stressful day, don't you think? First of
Definitely.
all, we're gonna go to two closings. Then we got to pack up all of our stuff and move in one day. Um, something that we can suggest to our clients that would help make things look a little bit better?
So many.
Okay. Let's start over. I'm just going to do something like this so that it makes it look like I know when I'm editing, I can just go. Okay. So Flavia, what are sellers really hoping for when they get that offer and they know the timing is going to be important?
Right. They want to make sure that they can close first before they go and close on their second property or the next property. So they need enough time. They need cash prior to buy their next property, and they need time to move.
Right. So if we can take that rush that's associated with, like, I have a closing, selling my house at 9 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
or to this other office, buy my new condo at noon. Okay, quick rush back to the house, get in the truck where all my stuff is loaded, drive across town, unload it. This should be a pretty quick video because it's actually a really simple concept, but a lot of people don't really think of it until they hear that somebody else did it and they won the house. We have something that's called an Addendum O. So addendums are just additional pieces of paper that we can attach to your offer. It actually extends and becomes part of the offer. Addendum O O stands for occupancy. So when a person receives an offer with an addendum O, it can grant the seller the right to stay in the house for a set period of time after closing. What are some of the options and things that we might have, Flavia, to include, or things that we can fill in a form like that?
Of course, first is timing, costs, obligations. There are a few things there that is up to you to put it there or take it out. And you can talk more in
Sure.
detail.
So really, it's just it's a short-term rental. But when it comes to the expenses, if you really want to make your offer really strong, you may decide to offer them the opportunity to stay there for free for a week. Now, free means no additional daily charge, but it's up to you if you want to make sure that they pay the taxes until the day they move out, or do you want to have you start paying taxes the day of closing? There's all sorts of little wiggle room, things like that. Then there are some other details that are important to cover. It just makes sure that it's clear who's going to have keys. I think if you're the owner of the house, it's fair that you have keys. But if they're, quote, your tenant, even if it's just for a week, they may appreciate that you will give them 24 hours notice before you come by, for example, things like that. One thing that, even if we're not charging on a daily basis, we still may recommend to you to have a security deposit. Why would we do that, Flavia?
Because if that, you know, word tenant, but again, is not a relationship landlord and tenant, but that's the similar document that you would get if you rent somewhere.
Yeah,
So make sure if any damage occur, you have already an amount to hold as hostage or to pay
sure.
for that damage.
Yeah, and I think that especially if you're giving free tenancy for a week, most sellers are going to be really understanding that you want to protect yourself against any situation where there might be damage or whatever. And uh, when when you write an addendum O and you fill it out fully and you have all this good information in it, the new scenario, rather than closing two houses or two properties in one day and moving all at once, the new scenario is they close, and then maybe a couple days later, they're able to go close on their new home and they're able to move everything out over a couple days. It really, really relieves a lot of stress, and it solves some problems too, especially nowadays. We aren't seeing as much inventory on the market, so a lot of sellers are really nervous about ending up, quote, homeless for a couple days or whatever. And this can really help you, the buyer, come across as the hero, because you're actually providing the solution to their problem. And who doesn't want to work with somebody who's providing the solutions, bringing a good monetary offer, great terms? This is just another way to provide value in your offer and make you stick out and differentiate you from everybody else, right?
Right. And, we've been the seller side, and some people fill out the addendum O very empty. They don't put the termination fee, which is very important because you need a motivation for that seller to leave the property. If you don't put it there, it will be very open.
So what
So
does a termination fee mean? What do you mean by that?
it means if you don't leave the property at the date and the time that you promised to, you're going to be charged X amount. So,
Per
and
day?
we put that there like high enough that would be super scary for somebody to stay there.
So this is a daily charge.
Yes,
So we
a
would
daily
put something
charge.
like $300, $400, $500.
Mm-hmm.
If they end up sticking around too much, they're going to end up having to pay a pretty handsome fee. And it's got to be something that's more expensive than staying in a hotel.
And another thing I think is important to comment on this one is a post-occupancy addendum. So you have us as real estate agents right now, but after closing, we can't represent you. So it's just between you and that seller. So
Mhm.
you have to remember that. So you can call us. We'll be happy to provide any information as regards to how to contact that seller, but that's the relationship between you and that seller.
Absolutely. So there's a comfort level that the buyer will have to have with the seller. And then, we always do our best to try to maintain that there's a good relationship between the buyers and sellers. Sometimes negotiations happen and things get a little bit tense, but certainly by the time closing comes around, we want to make sure everybody's very comfortable. And you really don't want to get in a situation where you have to be in a confrontation with people that they're not getting out of your house or they did some damage or whatever. So it's not for every situation, but absolutely, this is a thing that some people absolutely request it. Some sellers will request post-closing occupancy right up front. So, if you're buying a house from somebody that requests that, we as your agents will let you know. But that at least that won't be the first time you heard about it because you heard about it here.
That's right. And also, we are always call the listing agent, even if the seller doesn't ask in advance or put in MLS in remarks. We always ask before putting an offer what's important to the seller and what are the details we can have to help your offer to win.
Absolutely. Actually, Flavia, doesn't that go all the way back to the very first video in this series
Yes.
where we talk about the presentation, which isn't just the presentation on paper, but it's how we present ourselves, and it's also about the handling the details and calling that agent, finding out what are the terms that those sellers are looking for, and that's a lot of times where we find out, hey, they would really appreciate being able to stick around the house for a week after closing, and it would really solve some problems that they have. So anyway,
Yeah.
there you have it. It's another tip in the series on how to write a winning offer.
Yes. Thanks for watching and ciao.
See you next time.